In the current cost of living crisis, can you actually afford to make homebrew? Gas, water and electric prices are going up, the cost of grain is going up, the cost of hops are going up, the cost of all the equipment involved in homebrewing is going up. So is it worth your time and money making homebrew? Ever since I started homebrewing, I've always tried to make the process as cheap and easy as humanly possible so I can save money and time. And I've been really proud of some of the beers that I've made on a really strict budget. Homebrewing is one of those great hobbies where you can spend very little on it or huge amounts of money on it. And it really does depend on what your budget is and just kind of what you want to do with your homebrewing. I'm personally not very elitist when it comes to this hobby, and I think it's for everyone. And I really think that if you're going to be brewing just with a pot from IKEA, then go for it. It's absolutely fine. You should just be enjoying yourself and making great beers. In this video, I want to share with you how you can save money as a home brewer. First things first, don't feel the pressure to buy expensive gear. Just buy what you feel comfortable with. You know, you can upgrade slowly as you go along. I've personally been using the same cheap kettle that I bought a few years back now, and I've been really happy with the results. I think it was about £120 from the malt miller. They actually now offer a great range of electric products, which I personally would buy now if I was getting a new brewing system, but I'm sticking to the gas system that I've got for the time being, just to save cash. You could go another step of cheapness and just stick to using pots from IKEA if you wanted to. They're really decent quality, they're dirt cheap, and if you're making small batches of beer every so often, it's really all you need. A big way that you can save money as a home brewer is by using 30-minute boils. I've personally exclusively brewed using 30-minute boils for the last year, and I've been really happy with the results. All my brew days have now been 30 minutes shorter, and I've really seen no issues as a result. It can affect beer clarity, but to be honest, I don't really mind, and I'd sooner save some cash and time. Now, I know some old school brewers will say that you can't do a 30-minute boil, it's gotta be a 60-minute boil because otherwise you'll get DMS and you'll get off flavors and yada yada yada. Most of the time these days, because of how malts have now been developed and processed, you actually don't need to do a 60-minute boil. There are certain malts, such as Europils, where it's slightly more recommended that you do, but if you're using, I don't know, Maris Otter or Golden Promise, something like that, all of the time, then really you don't need to be messing around with 60-minute boils. Now, you can save time and money even further on your boil by just pretty much not doing one. There's a type of brewing called raw ale where you just heat up your wort to a pasteurizing temperature of around 80 degrees Celsius, and then you put it in your fermenter and put in the yeast, and off it goes. It ends up being a bit more farmhousey in taste. I haven't brewed one yet, but I'm really keen to try one. So if you'd like to see that video, then do subscribe to this channel. Whilst you're subscribing to the channel, let me know in the comments what are some of your best money-saving tips for homebrewers. Another easy way that you can start saving money as a homebrewer is by using Kvike yeast. If you're already a subscriber to this channel, then you were probably expecting me to say that. It saves money in a huge number of ways, one of them being that you don't need to have temperature control for your fermentation, which means that you don't need to have a special fridge that you use to ferment your beer in, so it means that you save time and space and money. Kvike yeast strains are cheap to buy in the first place, but can actually be reused really easily without risking infection, which means that every single time you brew with one, you're saving money. Kvike yeasts don't need to be made into starters, which means that you don't need to buy something like a magnetic stirring plate. All you need is the yeast and some jars to store it in. Now, personally, I brought a very expensive magnetic stirring plate and flask, and I've only ever used it once. Don't tell my future wife. Another way that I save money as a home brewer is by bottling and also using mini kegs. Those two methods don't require you to purchase CO2 or have a fridge specially for storing your kegged beers in, but it does result in you using more time. Bottling can take ages to do, but it is still the cheapest way to store your beers. I have found that mini kegs are quite a good middle ground, which are easy and quick to fill, but don't require you to buy CO2. Another way to save money when you're bottling is by not buying bottles, but instead collecting ones from friends, family, or even pubs, and then cleaning off the labels and reusing the bottles. I personally have a steady stream of bottles which come in from my dad, which I'm very happy to reuse and send to him. Let me know in the comments if you've got any great money-saving tips for homebrewers, and watch this next video if you'd like to learn more about how you can start reusing Kvike yeast today.